Hello, everyone. I am on location and I am... No, I'm not. No. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Walk Live. Listen, for all of you who've been rocking with me since day one, you know I love you. Yeah. And for all of you who are new, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you like what you hear and what you see. My name is Sakima. I post on this channel every Tuesday, so you make sure you hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, and all the buttons that you see, just hit all of them on the screen. Just push them all right there. Just push them. Because I don't want you to miss an upload. And listen, what do I post on this channel? I post different nuggets, different lessons that God has given me along my journey. They've helped me chip away at some of the barriers that have been in my path. And my hope is that by sharing, they will help you as well. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. And you may see me vlogging, doing other things on this channel from time to time, interviewing, whatever. You'll see me doing a lot of things on this channel. I like to say when you come here, you'll find inspiration, you'll find laughter and life. So if you're looking for all that, then you came to the right place. What? I'm about to give you, what? Who told you? Who told you to come to this channel for that? Who told you? I'm going to give, hey, listen, I'm going to give you what you came for, okay? Now, what I like to do is I like to give a moment for those who have not had the chance, who want to subscribe. You guys, when you subscribe, that gives me an opportunity to get this word out to those that need it. And that's really what we're trying to do. Also, I'd like to say, if you like something that you hear or see, you guys make sure you share it with someone else, because odds are there are more people who are needing to hear that same thing that you heard and who need to be inspired the way that you were inspired. So please share it, okay? But for now, I'm going to give you an opportunity. If you say, I've been wanting to subscribe, I just haven't had a chance to, or if you're like, I just got on this channel and she's foolish and I think I love her and I'm going to subscribe. Whatever it might be, please go ahead and do that now. I'll give you a moment to do that, and you won't even know I'm here. You won't, okay? I'm just going to be right here, over here doing some other things I need to get finished, okay? I need to finish some things. So just go right ahead. Did you hit that subscribe? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Welcome to the family. So listen, y'all. I stopped by to talk to y'all for a second. If y'all see me doing it, I'm pulling my nose ring down. I'm not digging my nose, okay? Not that I don't dig in my nose. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So I am just stopping by, you guys, to have a conversation with you. Let me just real quick, okay? Yes, I'm in my car. I am on the move. I'm doing several things. And so I'm like, let me stop and talk to my people, though. Let me not forget them. So I was like, let me stop and talk to you all while I'm doing all my stuff. So I am in the car. Don't look at all the stuff back there. Don't look at it. You're not going to look at it at all, are you? Now that I pointed it out, you're not. Oh, why did I do that? So I just stopped by to talk to you for a moment. I want to talk about blurred lines. Every time I say that, I think of Robin Thicke's song, Blurred Lines. Those are the actual words. What I just said, those are the actual words of the song. I wanted to talk to you about that because I feel that a lot of us get stuck in those blurred areas. And that is such a setup, because actually being in that place of confusion is the preferred place for you. The enemy wants you. That's his preferred place for you. He wants you to be in that confused state. And I'll give you a few reasons why. A lot of us think that the ultimate thing is the enemy just wants to cause our demise, wants to cause us to just do bad things and just follow him. And while that would be great, he is very cunning. The Bible talks about the snake being more cunning than any other creature on the earth in the garden. So when we think about how he is, it's not going to be like we think. Like, oh, okay, yeah, he's just going to walk up and be like, you know what? You need to just hit that person across the head. Just slap him in the back of the neck. Just do it. Just do bad thing. Like, it's not like that. He knows that most of the time we need some sort of convincing, some sort of, he has to go through the back door to get us to do what he wants us to do. And so that place of confusion, and I'm looking down at my notes. Y'all know me, I'm looking down at my notes. That place of confusion and that place of blurred lines is like the perfect place. Because one, it's unassuming. You think that you're not necessarily bad, right? I'm not doing all the bad stuff that a lot of people do, so I can't be like just that messed up. I mean, it's not that bad, right? All the while you are doing things that are just as damaging to your relationship with God and your walk with God. But it's unassuming because you feel like, well, I'm not quite all the way at that end of the scale. Well, I'm just this bad person, so clearly I'm straight. You know, I'm okay. I'm not always, at least I'm not over there, right? And so it's unassuming. If you're in this confused state, another thing is it's easier for him to insert whatever he wants to insert. So instead of having you just completely bad over there doing whatever you gonna do, see, that's a decided place right there. That's a concrete place. And just think of a scale. On one end you're like, yeah, I'm sold out, on fire for God. On the other end you're like, nah, I ain't got nothing to do with God. I ain't trying to serve you. I ain't trying to do none of that. I don't believe in you. No. In the middle you're like, I just have questions. I'm just not, I just don't. In that place, you begin to question so many things. You're looking for any bit of stability, and there he can insert what he wants to insert. Insert some sort of confusion, some sort of distorted version of what you've heard from God. This is exactly what he did in the Word when he would go, even times where he would go and try to tempt the Lord, tempt Jesus while he was in the wilderness. Even when he was trying to get Eve to eat the apple, or eat the fruit rather, he presented a distorted version of what God said, of God's word, and it began to make Eve like, well, wait a minute, well, maybe you're right, and it led her into disobeying God. He didn't walk up and say, hey, I know what God said, but you should go ahead and eat it. Just eat it. He walked up and created a confusion. He gave her a distorted version of what God said. And that led her to feel like, maybe I can do this, and maybe this will be all right, which led her to do what she was not supposed to do. And that's exactly how he does. He likes that area of confusion. He can manipulate you. He can insert whatever he wants. And another reason is he can bring more people along with him. Do you know that once Eve ate it, she went and presented it to Adam? When you are confused and you have all these things swirling around in your head, then you can bring other people along. You begin to express your confusion to others and express all of that. And then now other people are like, you know what? That does make sense. Like I said, it's going to be harder for people to just be like, hey, look, just serve the enemy. Just serve the enemy. All right. But if you can walk up to somebody and create some doubt or confusion, then it's easier to do that than to just completely get them to go in the opposite direction of things that they've heard from God. So it's easier to take other people along with you. Okay. The easier you can get in there and start to get his claws in there, the easier it will be to bring other people along, because that is a place where it's easy to insert anything you want. There are so many people out here who, instead of being decided one way or the other about God, are just kind of in the middle. Like, it's just the universe. You know, I kind of just, I just believe that just just the earth, the sun, and the clouds. Like, just, we just all have this earth, and I'm spiritual. I'm just, but I'm not really like either way. It's easier to float in the middle than it is to be decided about something. And that's why there are so many people who are adopting so many different, you got them adopting things from all religions and everything. Like, I mean, even if one contradicts the other, it's just like, I'm going to take a piece of everything, because it's easier to float in the middle. When you do have questions, when you are confused, it's easier for you to just float right there in the middle than to make a decision. And this right here is just such an easy place to get people to, instead of, like I said, going straight in for the kill, saying, hey, y'all just need to not serve God. That is alarming and off-putting, and people will be skeptical of you if you walked up and said that. But if you can just create some doubt, create some confusion, if you could just blur those lines a little bit, then you can get some people to kind of, yeah, okay, yeah, that might make a little sense. And this last one, I want to read what I wrote. So this is a very unassuming way to keep us away from God forever. When you are confused, you are often in a cycle. You may be asking certain questions or doing certain things, but ultimately arriving at the same place. The enemy is like, well, fine, if you won't outright stop serving God to follow me, I can still get you to not attend church because of one of those pastors who was teaching unsound doctrine. Or I can get you to replay what happened to you over and over in your mind that you can barely think of anything else. You can't forgive. You question who God is. You question who you are. You question who your real friends are. If you could just spend your life in that state, you will never fulfill God's will for your life. You will never see the many things he has for you. Matthew 5:16 says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. See, that is the goal. I don't want you to serve God. So if I can get you to not let your light shine, then they will not glorify your Father. See, when you let your light shine, when you continue to do what it is that God has asked you to do, when you continue to serve like God asked you to serve, when you continue to worship, when you continue to just be involved in things of God, when you follow him, when you keep him head of your life, it shows. You could be doing something like cutting the grass, and there'll be something different about you, something shining, something that is drawing people in left and right. And it begins to start to point people towards your creator, your Father. And that's what we don't want. So the enemy tries to dim that light. And being in a state of confusion, you don't ever shine. You don't want to shine. You don't want to draw attention to your confusion. It actually makes you isolate more because you are in that state. You're often aware that you're in a state of confusion. You're aware that those areas are sensitive areas and you don't want to visit those areas anymore and all of that. And so you end up putting yourself in a position where you are kind of isolated from other people. Definitely no one can see your light shining if you're not even around them. You're not even anywhere out. You're not even communicating with people. You're not doing any of that. So they can't see any light shining. And that is the thing. We don't want to point people towards the Father. That's what the enemy wants. That's what the enemy wants. He does not want your light to shine. So I'm just coming on to remind you to be very careful not to just look for there to be an outright disrespect, outright actions that would be completely opposite, completely contrary to the Father and what his will is. Also beware of those blurred lines. Those lines that make you feel like it's fine. Beware. Because just like I talk about the breadcrumbs that the Lord leaves to lead you to your place of destiny, to the place that he has for you, the enemy also leaves breadcrumbs. You know, he's good at imitating. He parades as an angel of light. So he's also leaving his little breadcrumbs to lead you into that destruction, or to lead you into that place of confusion that ultimately ends up in destruction because you're stagnant. And we talked about that before. So beware of those blurred lines. We could spend a lifetime in a blurred place, in a middle place, and not even realize, because we feel like we're not so bad. It's not so bad. I'm not a bad person. So I mean, I know I don't really, pray and all of that. I don't really read my word. I don't really just do too much like with God, but I really think I'm just a good person. You know what I'm saying? And, the Lord just tells you to love everyone, so if there is something that is happening that is contrary to what he has asked, but ultimately he just still wants you to just love everyone. Yes, he does want you to love them. And sometimes loving means correction. Sometimes loving means to say, hey, do you know that God loves you? Do you know he isn't pleased with this? Do you know that the state that you are in is not the state that he wants you to be in? Do you know that he has amazing things for you? Do you know that maybe the place you're in right now, the dark place you're in, is one that was an intentional setup from the enemy? Like, do you know that? Do you know that you're in a place of a blurred line of confusion? And this is also a setup so that you will never reach your full potential and that you'll keep being on this hamster wheel. We've confused love with being completely indifferent. Love is not the same as being indifferent. There are things that God has asked us to do. He doesn't ask us to do them because it's just like, I just want you to serve me. He knows us better than anybody knows us, even ourselves. And he knows why we would need to do things a certain way. Just like when the disciples were asking, Lord, why do you have to speak in these parables to us? Like, can you just say it normal and we'll understand? And he'll say, this is basically the way that you'll understand the best. Many don't get it. Many have deaf ears. They have ears, but they don't hear. They have eyes, but they don't see. So basically what I'm telling you is that I'm saying it in a way where I know is going to be caught. Your spirit is going to catch it. You're going to understand it best this way. This is the way that you will get it. This is the way that you will understand it best. We have to realize that we're not always going to get everything. Just like you're growing up in the house with your parents and you think, oh my gosh, he or she, like, why is she doing this? Why is she having me do this? Why is this rule in place here? Why is this in place? Like, I don't get it. And then when you get older, you get it. There are some things that we may not ever understand with God. But what we've got to know, just like with our parents, is that they have our best interest at heart. God has our best interest at heart. And he knows us. He knows us. So make sure that you are remembering that you don't need to wait until you completely grasp everything there is to turn and say, God, I surrender. I trust you to show me the way you want me to go. And I trust that even if there's things that I don't understand right now, I trust that I know that you have my best interest at heart. Don't wait until you just know every single thing, because we won't. God is infinite in everything. In his wisdom, he can see all, he knows all, and we are finite. So there will be some things where we're like, just think about it. This is the one who created this entire world, created us. Even if he started trying to explain some things to us, I think we'd be like, wait, just give me 1 second, because something what? That's exactly how it would be. I just don't want us to be fooled. I don't want us to be bamboozled. This is the time for us to go and follow God, to go and find our way with him. Find your way with him. Not your own way that you're going to make up, but what he is leading you to. We need him. This world, you already know. A lot of you are experiencing a lot of these crazy things. Y'all forgive my nasal tone. I'm getting over being sick. But we have to get to a place where we are trusting God. Every day, make the decision. It's not one decision that you make and you're just like, oh, yep, that's it. And then you wake up the next day and What if you have a doubt? What if something happens? What if I want you to know that it's okay. Get up every day and choose again to follow him. Do something again that's going to help you follow him. Do something again that's going to help you build your relationship with him, so that it's not such a crazy thing or a weird thing to interact with him. Do these things because it is absolutely necessary. We need him. If you don't know why you need him, ask him. Go find out why. Don't just sit there and just have your own ideas and own thoughts about what it is to follow God and what everyone else says about God and all these Christians and all, you know, you've got a lot of things that you've heard in your life. And a lot of them, the enemy has thrown things at you to create that confusion. So you just feel kind of like off put from the whole thing, period. And you feel safer just keeping to yourself, you know, and just kind of doing your own thing, floating, you know what I'm saying? Floating in the middle. But understand that that too is something that can keep you from ever shining, ever experiencing that abundant life that Christ died so that you could have. Beware of the blurred lines. It's the enemy's favorite place for you to be in, all right? Listen, you know what I always say. I hope that helps somebody. My journey with God has been just that, a journey. And it's one that I know I was called to share with you all. So I thank you for joining me week in and week out on the walk live.